Okay, hi guys, and welcome to my room. So, I'm in a bit of a cynical mood at the moment, actually, because I just got one of my final grades back and I'm not happy about it. I'll be real, I expected better, even though I did not put in the work to get that better grade. I did expect magically to somehow get an A in that class, and I did not. So, very sad for me, although it was completely my fault. Okay, anyway. So this video, what is this video? Well, funny you should ask because you're watching it. Yesterday, I finished my last final. I took it. It was hard as fuck. Can we give that a moment? It was so difficult. So what I thought I would do is just reflect on this semester, this really crazy semester that has never happened before, hopefully will never happen ever the fuck again. Sorry, I'm getting really aggressive. I promise I'm a nice person. Anyway, if you're new here, hi, I'm Nina. I go to MIT, I'm a sophomore, and I hate online school. That's just about it. You're all caught up. Now, let me dive into some of the highlights and lowlights of this unprecedented sophomore fall of mine. We're gonna start high. So, because of the whole remote school thingy, MIT decided that they would step their game up. They have this loaner iPad system where any student who wants can get a free iPad, a free Apple Pencil, and a free hotspot network for the semester. And I obviously got one because I don't have an iPad, and I have it, it's right here. And this bitch was a lifesaver because I was expecting the iPad to come. I started the semester by taking notes in this notebook. All my notes went in this notebook. And you might ask, how did you organize that? Like, this is a one subject notebook. How did you manage to fit your like 5 classes worth of notes in that one notebook? And the answer is by doing this. It's a fucking nightmare. I would just take all my classes for all my notes in this and then put a little post-it tab thing corresponding to what subject it was. And let me tell you, that is a horrible system. Never try it. I thought I would only need this for like the first 2 weeks. I ended up using it for about a month, which did not end well because I could never find my notes because like they're all like messed up in here. It got so bad. It got to a point where I would just stop taking notes because I was so annoyed with this notebook. And literally I was just like, fuck this shit, I don't need notes. It was so odd. So literally when I finally got my iPad, I had been in this like situation where I just didn't take notes. And that is not good. But then I got the iPad and like, if anything, it like made me want to take notes because I was like, ooh, this is so fun. Like Apple Pencil. Let me show you some example. Like, look at how fun this is. Okay, I'll insert a clip in because it won't focus, but like, look at those notes. Like, they're so fun. Yeah, so thank you to this iPad. Really helped out. They also gave us Notability for free. Usually it's like $7, so that was great. So thanks MIT for that. Now let's move into the lowlights. Okay, so I have this class. This class is Introduction to Algorithms, and it is the class that I just received the grade for that I'm not happy about. But that aside, this class is hard. It's known for being hard. What I didn't realize was that it was one of those classes that basically the homeworks, in order to do them, you kind of have to go to office hours unless you're a genius. And do I look like a genius? So at first I was getting really shitty homework grades because I was doing it wrong. Because like, it's not something, unless you've been working with this stuff for a long time, that you'd have like a natural intuition for, but it's also an intro class, so no one has that intuition. So basically no one knows how to do it. So basically everyone goes to office hours, and what ends up happening is that the queue for office hours, because that's what you do, you just like sit in line until someone's ready to help you. The queue for office hours was getting to be like 1-2 hours long. Crazy shit. At some point, the teaching staff or whoever was running that class was like, you guys should stop going to office hours one by one because the queues are getting too long and you should go with other people to like solve your problems at the same time. Which like, sure, that's like reasonable advice to give, I guess, but you know what else you could do? You could make the homeworks easier. You know, if like no one can do it without a TA's help, maybe it's too hard. Maybe it's not exactly doable with the stuff that you taught in lecture, you know what I mean? So that was just, I had a bone to pick with them. But then one of the highlights was that they did fix their office hours system. Basically, they like switched it to like a group system where you just like joined a group Zoom call. This like guy, one of the TAs, he like coded this entire like software for it. Anyway, moving on. So now let's move on to some of the outside of class stuff that I was dealing with. Okay, first of all, to anyone who's watching who was in a club that I'm in, I am so sorry. Like, I dropped literally all my responsibilities from any extracurriculars, but it like wasn't on purpose necessarily. But I eventually just stopped going to every meeting of every club that I had ever been in because it just felt so fake. And I don't know how to explain this, but I hope people can understand. You intuitively would be like, why wouldn't you go? It's so easy. You don't actually have to walk there. You can literally just open your laptop and you're there. You should go more because it's so easy. But that like didn't happen. It like didn't work like that. It just like felt so fake that I would just forget. It didn't feel real. Please tell me someone can relate to this because it does not make any sense. I can tell as I'm saying it through my mouth. College students, please tell me you can relate and that I'm not just a horrible person, because I feel really bad that I dropped all my responsibilities, but I would literally just forget. I've also just recently been made aware of the fact that a lot of my friends actually do watch my videos. I was kind of like operating under the assumption that no one cared, but they do. So I just want to say that if you're my friend and you're watching this, just take a second, pause the video, X out of the tab, go make yourself a cup of coffee, do something better with your time, stop listening to me talk on the internet, please. So one shitty thing about this semester and MIT is that they basically were like, yeah, we're closing off our campus to everyone except for like seniors and some other people who get privileges. But if you are not living in the dorms, you cannot be on campus. Like, you can't even be on campus, much less go into the buildings. Literally, I just felt so disconnected from everything, and I didn't even feel like I was in college anymore. I was just in my apartment in the city of Boston attending Zoom calls. Like, anyone who had to work from or had to do school from home, like, it just doesn't feel real. You know what I mean? So that sucked, but I do want to give a shout out to the other schools in this area, namely BU and Northeastern. Y'all are homies. Yeah, you can just go in. So there was a time period where I would just walk my ass to either like the BU Student Center or the Northeastern Student Center and park my ass there and do work, and it just like felt so good and like made me so much more productive when I was just surrounded by other college students. Like, we're all on the grind, we're all like, I don't know, it felt so good to be there and to just do work and sit there for like hours and hours and hours. So that's what I did until BU decided that they had too many COVID cases, so they stopped letting strangers into their buildings. But thank you for the period that it lasted. That was a great time for me and my productivity. Now let's bring it back to the school. So one of my classes, they decided they would be real sneaky. They were like, if we are having to do remote lectures, well, like, that's not even like an issue because we already have recorded lectures from the MIT Open Courseware course that is the same class. Anyway, so they just made us watch old lectures. It wasn't live lectures, it was asynchronous lectures because they already had these lectures recorded from like 2014 or whenever. But the real kicker was that they were like, well, we have all these like recorded lectures, let's just give them like way more lectures in a week than they're supposed to. And I was like, usually what happens is 2 lectures a week and 2 recitations a week. So that way your class meets 4 times a week. That's normal. But they were like, well, if we have all these pre-recorded lectures already, we can amp it up to 3 lectures a week and 3 recitations a week. And I was like, no, like, hold the phone. That's not allowed. Like, stop it. What? They did that for a while. It was horrible. I was behind on lectures every single day. How is that possible? And all my friends who were in that class felt the same way. They were like, I'm like 75 lectures behind. It would be like 3 days would go by and I'd be behind like 5 lectures. Finally, enough people complained about it that they changed it. They switched it back to 2 lectures and 2 recitations a week. That was a time. It happened. So the end of the semester rolls around and I got real sick. If you watched last vlog, you know that. It was literally the weekend before finals. My first final was on Monday and it was Thursday and I started feeling shitty and I was like, fuck me in the asshole. This is not the time for this. Spoiler alert, it was happening right then. Let's talk about this. MIT Medical is stupid. If you're using it as like a primary care service, I guess it's okay. But really, when I first thought of MIT Medical, I thought it would be like oh, you're sick or you're injured, this is the place to go. Turns out they don't like that. It's not like urgent care, even though they have like an urgent care department, because you can't just walk in. You have to like make an appointment. If you have a thing that needs to be attended to urgently, that is not the place to go. Like, just don't go there because they will not help you. So I was like sick, right? Obviously, what's my first thought? My first thought is I have COVID. Of course, like, look at the state of the world. That's what anyone would be thinking. So you know what I do? I was a responsible citizen and I went, dragged myself out of bed even though I was like literally dying, and I got COVID tested. So that test came back, it was negative. I was like, thank God I don't have COVID. And even though like false negatives are a thing, they're really not that common. Like the probability that you get a false negative is not that high. So I was like, chances are I don't have COVID based on this negative test result, right? But I was still sick. I was still very sick. I got to a point where I couldn't move positions in bed. I also threw up once in the middle of that experience. So I was like, you know what? I need to find out what's wrong with me. If it's like the flu or if it's like strep, like you need medicine. Why not give MIT Medical a call and they will diagnose me and cure me? I rang them up. I was like, hi, explain my whole situation. I was like, listen, I know my symptoms kind of sound like COVID, but I got COVID tested and it was negative. But all they really were interested in doing was getting me another COVID test. I understand, I guess, it's like important to get tested multiple times, especially if there's a good chance that you're sick. But at that point I was like, I think I have strep or something like that. So yes, you can like tell me to get COVID tested again, but could I also be tested for something else maybe? Like, please, I'm dying. And they said no. They were like, nah. Got my COVID test. Guess what? It was negative. Say it louder for the people in the back. I do not have COVID. Then I got better on my own and they never helped me. So thank you, MIT Medical, for that. Anyway, that's where I'm gonna end this final. That's where I'm gonna end this video. My fall semester's over. After I'm done filming this video, I'm literally gonna close the door on this semester and never look back. Holy shit, this was horrible. My biggest wish in the world is to never do it again. And that's that. So see you next time. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me go over the highs and lows of my semester. See you next time. Okay, hey guys, so thanks for watching the video. I just want to talk a little bit about today's sponsor, which is Skillshare. So I've worked with Skillshare like a million times before. I'm sure y'all know who they are and what they do, but for those of you who don't know, Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. It's not some like class that you're forced to take in school because you have to take it. It's a course that you actually want to take if you want to learn life skills, artistic skills, you just want to get better at something, you want to start a new hobby. All those are great reasons to try out Skillshare. There are so many classes that range from like how to grow your social media accounts to like how to code in Java, how to build your own website, how to do interior designing. So one of the classes that I've been really enjoying recently is called Creativity Unleashed, Discover, Hone, and Share Your Voice Online. It's taught by Nathaniel Drew, who is a fellow creator here on YouTube, and I love his videos, so obviously when I saw that he had a class on Skillshare, I was like, yes, I'm gonna take that. But he just has such a great way with words, and everything that comes out of his mouth just A, makes so much sense, B, is so inspiring, C, motivates me to like better myself, I guess. So yeah, I've really been enjoying that. Skillshare is curated specifically for learning, meaning there are no ads, and they're always launching new premium courses, so you can follow wherever your creativity takes you. With an annual subscription, Skillshare is less than $10 a month, which is pretty crazy, honestly. So the first 1,000 of my subscribers who click the link in the description will get a free trial of the premium membership of Skillshare. So you can go explore your creativity. So that's it. Thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and have a great day. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.